Hello everyone and welcome. On this episode we are going to create a new way for us to get items. So instead of clicking the button and getting the item right away, we will click the button and have to wait for a certain amount of seconds. So if you want to know how this is done, stick around and like this video. This is where we left off in the last episode. We have two panels right now, one for the inventory, which currently is empty, and another panel where we can get our items. So the first thing we are going to do is create a new model called job, which does not inherit from mono behavior, so it doesn't not need the start and the update method. And this is just like the items class that's system.serializable, just like this class, and it will need some variables here. The first being the name of the job, so a public string for the name, and the second one being a public float, that's the duration. And this duration is how long the job will take to complete. And with that done, we are going to be creating a job controller, much like we did with the inventory controller or the item controller. The job controller responsibility will be showing the player the jobs that he can do. And to do that, we are going to be creating a public list of jobs, and we can call it available jobs. And we are going to populate this list with all the jobs that are available for the player. So to do that, you wait for it to compile here in the editor, and you will see a list of jobs here. So I'm going to populate this list and we will be right back. Well, the jobs I've come up with are drones that will take 1 second to complete, droids that takes 5 seconds to complete, enhanced humans will take 10 seconds, cyborgs 20 seconds, and finally robots will take 30 seconds to complete. So if you have any idea for other types of jobs or even items, leave it in the comments below. I will check it and I will add it to the game in the future episodes. So now let's create a way for us to show these types of jobs here on the game. So yeah, kick on the time lapse.
Ice cold, I'm swimming against the tide. I wanna forget you, but you pull me in. I know this ocean is far too wide. I wanna forget you. Let me forget you. Push and pull, but you repel me, giving up this fight. Love and hate, we've blurred the lines. I'm giving up this fight.
So now that we have this job template right here, we want to spawn all of our available jobs once the game starts. And to do that, we want to come here into our job controller and we want to reference a game object that is the job prefab, and that is what we just created earlier. We also want to take a reference to a transform, that's the job parent, and that is where we want to instantiate our prefab. And once this loads, we can reference them here in the inspector. So the job prefab is this, and where we want to spawn it is in this scroll content. But once we start the game, we don't want this to be already here, so let's just delete it. and let's go into the job controller class and let's code it. So what we want to do is for each job j in our available jobs, so for each job inside our list, what we want to do is simply instantiate. And what we want to instantiate? We want to instantiate the job prefab, and where? In the job parent. So if we run this right now, you can see that we will have 5 templates right here, just like the ones we set up. But we don't want to say job name, we want the name of our job. So to do that, we need to get a reference of object. We want to get a reference of this, of what we are instantiating, meaning of this reference right here, and we want to change the text that's inside the children. So we go game object dot get component in children, and the component is of type text. And because we only have one, there's no need to store this variable, so we go curly bracket, and dot text, and we change the text to j.name. And if we do this, save everything and launch the game, you will see that now our templates have the names of our jobs, just like we wanted. So in order for us to get an item whenever we clicked this job button, we need to access this job controller class. And just like we did with the inventory controller, let's create an instance. So this allows us to get a hold of this class on the job class. And now what we want to do is add a listener to the onClick event for each of these buttons. So we can go game object dot get component of type button, and now we want to find the onClick method and we want to add a listener, and this will add a listener for some function that we will be creating to each of these buttons. And what I usually do is create a lambda function for my function, which I will call get item, and I want to pass the duration of time for that job. So if we create here a private void get item with a float duration, you can see that the error go away. But this won't get us an item after this duration. And the best way to do that is to change this from a private method to a I enumerator. And this allows us to start a coroutine. And I don't really know. Okay, so start a coroutine that's called get item. And what am I missing? Oh yes, this doesn't need to be void. So a coroutine is something that you can delay for some amount of seconds. That's the best explanation I can give right now. And to do that, you just do yield return new wait for seconds, and we pass the duration. So what this will do is whenever we click the button, it will start this coroutine, and this coroutine will wait for some amount of seconds, and after that it will continue the code. So we can do item controller dot instance dot get item, and it's as simple as that. If we now go into our job, into Unity, and we run the game, you can see that whenever we click, let's say drones, so drones will take 1 second to complete. So if we click it, after 1 second we get electronics, and they are stored in our inventory. If we click on droids, it should take 5 seconds and then get us an item. So we click it, we wait 5 seconds, and we get sensors, as you can see. So yeah guys, we just reached the end of this episode by having a new and improved way of getting our items. In the next episode we are going to create a way for us to display the progress on these jobs. So let's say if we click robots, we should see a progress bar filling up very slowly, and once it reaches the end we will get an item. And if you like this video and want to see more, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video so I know you care, and comment anything you really want. I'm always open to suggestions about this game. And yeah, until the next one, I hope you have a great day.